All right, everybody. So now we are looking at part 3 of our interactive reader. Remember, we're going up to a total of 36 points to get full credit, or whatever grade you're shooting to get for this interactive reader. We've done the first 2 parts, which focus kind of mainly on these reading checks. Remember that they're graded. Each reading check is 4 points. So we got all 4 reading checks. So we're at 16 points right now. And then our summary, once we get our summary written, that is another 4 points. Okay? All right, so that will make us at 20 points total. All right? Moving on, as we went through each of these slides, you were to have been putting the main idea in each of these boxes. Remember, I said you didn't have to put a full sentence in each one, and I kind of held true for that most of the time. I might have put like 1 sentence in for the first sentence and then kind of really shorten it down for the rest of it. Kind of like with this one up here. It says James Cook was a famous explorer, born in England. His love of learning equaled paid education, and that's really short right there. So those were kind of the main points I got out of that. This one over here was even shorter, really bullet pointed out. He began working on a coal ship in 1747, and he studied math. That kind of gives me something for me to kind of remind myself, hey, I probably need to look back at the text to kind of get the full story about that if I want to put more detail in there. But we'll get to that in a minute. So now you got to take all of this and you have to convert it into, full sentence, paragraph structure or whatever, okay? So that's why there's 2 pages for this packet, all right? So you're going to take this, if you need to, you can, take them apart. That way you can have them looking at. And this is how, remember I said I wrote big, this is two sentences. So this is how there we go. This is how I converted that out. So this right here is just this box, okay? It's just this box. All right? I have not even put that in there yet. So James Cook was a famous explorer. He was born in 1728 in England. Love of learning equals paid education. So that, add word choice, make it into complete sentences, use your, grammar rules, capitalizing proper nouns, adding punctuation. Make sure you can see my punctuation. Adding punctuation in, and proper word choice, your subject predicate agreement, subject verb agreement, all that stuff needs to be taken into account. Okay, and this is what I have, and it's extended out. So this is me writing big. Obviously it took up half the page. Some of you guys are you write short. Some of you guys, will probably end up needing both. If you need to, you can use the back of the page if you need more space, or if you can add more lines to it, that's fine also. But that's basically what you're doing. You are taking your notes or whatever that you wrote in here, or if you wrote complete sentences, you are then putting them over here in a proper sentence structure. Okay? Some of your teachers insist on the paragraph indentation. Indent the paragraph if that's what you are required to do. Okay? In order for me to do, get space in here, I didn't put the indentation in there, but, you get the point. If you're required to put an indentation in the paragraph, put an indentation in the paragraph. All right? Make sure your spelling is right. Stuff like that. So this is what this is going to look like. You're going to write it down here, or you're going to, I think this is a PowerPoint slide file in the Schoology folder. So if you want to, you can also take this and type it out. All right. I forgot about that bell. So this is 4 points. All right. This piece here is what is 4 points. I know on like the first video I put 4 points on the graphic organizer. That was just to kind of let y'all know that the summary itself is 4 points. The graphic organizer is not what you get graded on the interactive reader. This is what you get graded on. Okay? So this right here, if it's graded by the program, it's 4 points. So it's going to be 4 points out of your total 36 here. So up to this point, and we'll get to that in a minute, when we get to the critical response organizer video, you will kind of see how the math runs with the rest of it. Okay? So that's how it is going to fall out if you end up putting it on here. Okay? So now what does that look like as far as interactive reader whenever you go back to eyelet? Because whenever you go back to eyelet, it's going to, it has that little feedback feature. Okay? So I got the lights again. Gotta change the lights. All right. So, put that out of the way. So you have this, all right? Now, in order, I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me type everything out. So I think, nope, I got to copy and paste it again. So what I did, and you can do this also, you can type it out on a Word document, and you can copy it from a Word document, or the notes, the Notepad app that's on here, and you can paste it in. Okay, some of your iPads will allow you to do it, some iPads won't. If you're on a desktop or a laptop setup, you might have an easier time doing the copy and paste method. So it's going to depend on your device whether you can do that or not. So this is the same thing I put in there. Obviously, I'm not going to get the score that I'm wanting you guys to get because I don't have the whole thing in there. I only have like a summary of one box in there. But if I hit get feedback, I got a 4 on this first section, and then low scores down here, so that gave me a 2. So what you need to do, now that we're in the second half of the year, the spring semester, you guys need to try to get 4s if you haven't been getting 4s already. Okay? If you have not been getting 4s already, you need to try to get 4s. How you can do that is you come and look down, at these lower scoring, the lower scoring sections, and you can hit these little arrows, and it will give you, some questions up here to kind of think about. And then it'll kind of give you a section of text for you to go into. All right. Same thing with section 2. Gave me some questions. Okay. If there's nothing there, if there's nothing for that section, it's going to tell you good job. Okay. So a question that's come up. You've had all 4 of these are, they're green, they're good, they keep saying good job, but your score is still not high enough. That's when you come down here and you look. Okay, is there any ideas that are repeated? Okay, is anything duplicated? Okay, if anything is highlighted here, that means it's something that's been repeated. Then you need to revise it a little bit. Anything unrelated? All right. If it's not related to the topic, it's going to indicate it. All right. If there's anything that's copying, okay, so that's a little bit. There's a little bit of copying right there, I guess. So that would be something that would be revised so that it doesn't, trigger their editing. And then if there's any spelling errors. This one is usually lit up like a Christmas tree on some of y'all that I've seen. So usually I will have, whenever y'all come up to me and ask me questions, for things, then the first thing I tend to look at is the spelling. Because that's usually the one that gets the most points taken off. And so that's tends to be what happens here. All right. So you get a 4. Okay, let's pretend you get a 4, and then, you can hit get feedback a few times. I think now that we're later in the year, it's only going to let you hit get feedback maybe 3 times. Okay, maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm not entirely certain. So please be very careful when you hit this get feedback button. But once you've gotten feedback and you've tried to get a 4 and everything else, or you're up here in these later boxes, you hit submit summary. It says, are you sure you want to submit? And say yes. Okay, and now your summary's been scored. You can proceed to the next page. Proceeding to the next page, that will be in the next video because it will be the critical response, and we will, like I said, we'll get into that in the next video. So what you need to do now is on this paper or in the PowerPoint slide where you can probably type it up if you write really big like I do so you can save on space. You can finish this summary and get the summary turned in, and then, like I said, to the next video, the final video of the series, we will be discussing that critical response. All right?